Hello friends, this is Wendy, and I feel like it's a little bit of a risk to start out with a 12 by 12 piece of paper right on here because the 12 by 12 layouts do not do well on my channel. But I thought I would talk a little bit about that just because as I am finishing up this layout, just because I have a friend that texted me earlier today and we were talking about, well, texting back and forth about like scrapbooking and how she has years and years and years of memorabilia and photos and everything in boxes, but she's never like sat down and put them in a book to go through. And my first thought was, and it's something I thought I would share, or we start kind of, I would say chatting, only nobody's going to chat back, but I would do a monologue. How's that? I'll do a monologue. When I first started, in fact, I'm going to pull one of my very first scrapbooks out. Hold on. So this is one of my very first scrapbooks. It is just a binder from Costco. And of course there's glare, so sorry. But look at one of the things that you can do when you scrapbook in an 8.5 by 11. You can do all of your journaling right there, right on your paper. This was 12 by 12 cardstock that I cut down. And, so I was able to tell a story. And let's see. We'll just go on this one. Same thing. I could tell a story. Just a few pictures and a story. And anyway, this is just to give an example of what I did in I must have been scrapping this well in like 2002 is when I took the pictures. Now this one I did do it and then block it, but I could have printed it right on here. And I was able to tell more stories, I think, when I was doing an 8.5 by 11. So, like if you want to tell stories, this is an okay size. I mean, whatever size appeals to you is an okay size, right? Oh, I love this picture of my son. I have to zoom into it. Oh my gosh. Look at him. Isn't that so cute? Oh my gosh. Yes. He's an old man now. All my kids are old men now. But anyway, so this was the beginning. And I was telling my friend that I was working at a little local scrapbooking store at the time. And the owner did not like that I was not scrapping 12 by 12 because 12 by 12 was what she was selling. 12 by 12 was what was popular. She made it very clear that if I didn't scrap 12 by 12, I was just not, I wasn't, doing what she felt was, the right way to scrapbook. And I want to know who decided that 12 by 12 was the only way to scrapbook, right? I want to know who made that decision? Who said 12 by 12 will be the right thing? Because, well, if you look at a lot of the master painters, some of them did paint in a square, but many of them, their canvases were either longer or taller or whatever. So my thought really is, who decided? Who decided that that was the perfect, I don't know if I want white or if I want purple, that's the perfect size, right? So like all of the, I'm thinking a little bit of white and then purple. Definitely that. But so all of the scrapbooks were 12 by 12, and you go somewhere to buy a scrapbook and they're all 12 by 12. And the paper is all 12 by 12. But some of us are hoarders and left with all kinds of 12 by 12 paper. And I've mentioned this more than once, that I just love the little golden book size because it's just ideal. I'm going to cut that real quick. it is ideal for me because then there's this little bit of leftover. Now the 8.5 by 11 leaves you a little bit of leftover also, which would be fun. When I first started scrapping, I didn't do as much pattern paper as I do now. Although I don't do as much pattern paper as I used to, I do an awful lot of inking and stuff, so anyway, so let me tell you about this layout. Oh, not the way I want to go. Let me tell you a little bit about this layout. It is a Disneyland layout. This is just from this past January. And this was a sketch that a friend sent. And I thought, oh, that looks like an interesting sketch. This is supposed to be a circle here, which I did do a circle with some ink. And I kept really close to the sketch, except for the fact, I found my glue, as this is pulling up a little bit, except for the fact that I turned it on its side, because the actual sketch went like that. And I just, okay, so I didn't have enough paper, but this is going to be hidden. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so this little spot's going to get hidden here by this. And this is going to go here. Now how I made this. This is a die. It's an older one by Tim Holtz. And do I have it out still or did I put it away? It's called Mixed Media. And it has this little, it's just a fragment of a die. This is the whole die, how it looks. So I do want to cover that hole up there. And I want to do that. And then I have a title that's going to go this way. I don't know if I'm going to add much more to it than that. That might be done. The sketch had like leaves or something going across this way. So I might. But I'll put the title first and then I'll decide. Oh, now I don't know if I want to put the purple behind there. Let's see. And I'll show you what I've been doing in my... Oh, I think I do. I really think that makes it better. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I've got a cough drop in my mouth, so please, if you hear it, ignore it. I'm still getting over this cold. I feel way better, but it's still not 100%. We're getting ready to go on vacation. I want to be well. So I used Ledger, and this was shaded lilac, and I used it all the way around. I have this paper. I have had this paper for at least a decade, and I decided I would use one of my dies and just cut it out, and then I just cut out yellow behind it to make these here. And now what I really need to do is just decide what I want. I'm thinking of doing happiness is. So I haven't done a lot on Corby, but so I did print Into the Unknown on vellum. I also pulled out Better page protector. This was actually a 12 by 12 page protector. And so I cut that and put it on here, and I'm much happier with that. than this one that wrinkles. So I won't use that one anymore. So my son is a science major. Well, he's graduating now, but he was a science major. And so I used Tim Holtz products. So this was a stamp that he had, and this is called Laboratory. This little guy here is from that new Pete Hughes Infinite Doodles. And this is from, something frightful. Halloween frightful? I don't know. Anyway, and then I just drew that. But I thought that was really, I was real pleased with it. And I did ink. In fact, let me show you. So I had this left over from another project that I did, like back in January. And I inked this little spot right here. That's all I did. And I, did the whole smush and splat. And then I just cut all my pieces right out of there. And I still have all of this goodness. And this painter's tape I can just take off. And I've got more goodness for later. But, so one of the things that I did in Corby is I decided I had to keep him. I absolutely had to keep his name. So I used the Tyvek, and I glued my piece of fabric. And this is just a scrap from a quilt that I made. A pretty good size scrap, actually, but scrap just the same. And so I glued this, and I used, let me find it. I used Fabrifix. I was told that this works better than some of the other stuff. So I used Fabrifix on there. And then I used the Tim Holtz die, kind of measured where to do it and ran it through my machine and cut it out. And then I just used a permanent marker to kind of highlight because it sort of disappeared into the pattern that I had. So that was my little fix for that. And then on the back, let me show you. I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and I decided, you know what, the easiest thing to do is just to do another paper bag. So I still had some of this. I did put a little bit of cereal box, just a little strip of it in the area where this was bending, and then glued it on. And then on the inside, I did the same thing. I used I used Tyvek and my fabric, and I mean, I really didn't do as fabulous of a job as I could have or should have, but this is still, this is my experimental one. and I had a cold. so that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I know that Tim Holtz loves all of these little threads. I don't. I grew up cutting all those little suckers off. So now I open the book, and my first page is this. Then my story really does start here, and the story starts here. I wrote that down before I inked, and this is just a stencil that I did, and I used my my brush with my inks, and I used ground espresso. So the story is in there, and then see, I don't really know how to tell people other than maybe they'll just explore, right? You know, somebody's going to look at it, they'll just explore. But then I still have this area here. I've already got an idea of what I want to do. And I did this already on camera. And then so that, and then we turn the page and we have this. Now, I have reached out to a couple of junk journaling groups to ask, what does one do with this pocket? So what I need to do is tell my husband's story. You know, this is about our move, and there's stories involved into the reasons why. But this one was sort of the motivation. But my husband had a story. So this was sort of my son's and my story, at least how we got started. And my husband has a story, and I was thinking about doing something and putting it in here, but there's really not a lot of space. And so I guess I can just do file folder to fit in there that has little things in it that are kind of part of the story, I guess. You know, so I guess I could continue on to the Into the Woods or the Into the Unknown kind of a thing, or I could go into more of what, well, let's see, maybe I will do that. Maybe I will do another Into the Unknown kind of thing here. Wow, that actually helped. Hey, thanks guys. I think I will make a little folio here. So one more thing I just kind of wanted to mention. So 4 inches by, see, I do that and then I squirrel, right? Squirrel. But might be like 4 by 6, 4 by 6.5. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention was my husband was watching with me one of the junk journalers, and she was using glue stick. And I have not used glue stick in years, so I don't know whether there are some glue sticks out there that are really, really good. But I have used it in my scrapbooking in the past, and it dries up and your things fall off the page. Just saying. My things fell off the page. Mine fell off the page. And so my husband was like, well, why would they use that? And I don't know whether, again, glue stick has come a long way since I last used it. So maybe it has really improved over the years, or maybe they haven't been crafting long enough to know that these things fall off the page eventually. See this little guy right here? That's right here. Oh, he's my little, I think I bought this just for him because he's so stinking cute. Isn't that good? Anyway. So I don't know, but having glue that's gonna stay for time, and I guess it depends on how long are you gonna, like if it's a junk journal, whether it's a gift or whether it's for yourself, is this something that you are hoping will last for years and years, that you can pass down to your children and grandchildren to read about your life or kind of get an idea of what you like to do? Or is this something that you don't expect it to last more than a couple of years and then it's to be tossed? So those are things to think about as far as then what kind of glue are you going to buy? How are you going to construct your book? Are you going to construct it to last, or are you going to construct it because you don't, it's only going to last for a short amount of time anyway. Let's see. That would fit like that. If I folded it. So this is a thought. So let me tell you what I'm going to try to do, and then we'll see whether or not it works. I grabbed some cardstock. This is part of my large supply of craft cardstock paper. Probably should have gone with a little thinner one though, now that I'm thinking about it. And I'm going to cut it like this, but I'm going to cut it so that hopefully it does not cut out on that fold. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so look what happened. Ha 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 ha. I'm going to just snip that off. So that is straight. Or do I? Do I want to do that, or do I want to do the front one? Oh, now I have to decide. I hate decisions. I think I want to do the front one. I'm pulling this out because I do not trust myself. Yes, I definitely want it that way. I don't trust myself to cut a straight line. Doo-doo. All right. I've never done that before, but I've heard it being done. I'm going to round that corner. Okay. All right, look at that. And now guess what? We ink, right? First I'm going to check and see if it fits. It does. Okay, vintage photo is what I want right now. Of course, you know, I'm doing this without even a plan in mind. I don't know what color. Well, I don't know. I definitely want to vintage photo it. But I don't know what I want to use this little folio for. I don't know what I want to decorate it with. Do I want to continue with the Into the Unknown theme? I mean, the whole theme of the book is Into the Unknown, so that would work. So, do I want to put some pages in there to tell at least part of the story? Do I want to, wow, there's a lot of, I don't know what I want to do here. So, of course, I did finally make a decision, right? I mean, I have been asking people and trying to get an idea of what I would do. And I did kind of think I wanted to use this file folder die, but I wanted it to be bigger than the normal size, which would be half of this. So this is a nice little thing that you can do to, I think I'm going to turn it this way and go like this. So I guess I might as well do the whole inside too, huh? Get it all inked up. So anyway, and this is with my friend in mind. Kind of with me in mind too for right now, because it does apply with what I'm trying to do right now. But the first thing is, what do you want to, what story do you want to tell out of your scrapbook or your memorabilia book or your junk journal? Do you want to use this as artistic therapy for yourself to just kind of play? I clearly struggle with that, with just I'm going to just make this fun, right? And I have a story to tell. I want to tell a story, you know, I mean, that's me. But it really, it's what do you want to do? You know, do you have this memorabilia that you want to put out? How chunky do you want it to be? If they're nice, neat, clean pages, that 12 by 12 is fine. But if you start chunking it up, next thing you know, I mean, you're ripping page protectors and, you know, so there's a lot to think about, isn't there? There's just a lot to decide. And then you decide what format. And I would say, this is me again, but it's a case-by-case thing, that sometimes what I want is a junk journal where I could then tell stories. And sometimes I want to use a 12 by 12 page because the only thing I want to say is that happiness is spending time with friends or something like that, right? So it is sort of a case by case. But all right, well, I have visited with you enough, and we'll see how well this video does. Because some do okay and some do not. And I'm just kind of curious as to how well this one will do. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. If you did like this, if you like some of my rambling, please give it a big thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell. And I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.